friends, this is Heather. So today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of being a massage therapist. I think this will probably be a two-part video, and we'll start with the cons. Let's get right into it. Let's do bad news first. So, being a massage therapist is a very rewarding career. Let's start with that. It's a very rewarding career. I have loved a lot of different things about it. I hope this video does not come across as, oh my gosh, this is a terrible career choice. Don't do it. But more that these are some challenges that you may face. And hopefully I'll be able to put some solutions in here as well. So maybe we can actually turn some of the cons into some pros, or take the challenges and at least buffer them so that you have some solutions, some things that make them not so bad. So let's get started. So I think the thing that most people know, or that you can think about like first off the bat, is it's physically exhausting, or it can be physically exhausting. So with that said, it's true. Like, to do this job, you're on your feet almost all the time. And even if you're not on your feet, even if you're sitting down on a rolly stool or a bouncy ball, you're still pushing and pulling and manipulating other people. Like, I don't know if you can see this, but like I have some forearm muscles here. And that's, just over the years of doing this, you are going to develop musculature that will support the things that you do over and over again. And that is really great. So let's talk about some other solutions. So yeah, it's physically exhausting, unless you're, unless you're like a professional athlete or you work out all the time or whatever, but it doesn't matter. Even still, there was a time that as a massage therapist that I was like younger than I am now and in really great shape, and it's still, it's still exhausting. So some things that you can do. Exercise is important. And I know sitting here and I'm looking like, a little fluffy these days. But exercise is important. And that's one thing that, I have done other things in the last few years. I've always done massage, but it hasn't always been like front and center. And, my goal these days is I walk like 20 to 30 minutes 3 times a week, and then I do strength training 3 times a week, like full body strength training. And that helps, that helps a lot. Making sure you get enough sleep, that is also incredibly important. Like the 7 to 9 hours that professionals recommend. You need your beauty sleep. Eating a good diet, like these things you might not think, well, you know what, like I eat trash all the time and I can do this job and that's fine. And you can, and some people can get away with that, but like trying to be as health conscious as you can, it does go a long way. Okay, so let's see. Another con about this career is limited hours that you can work. And this goes along with, it being physically exhausting. You cannot, most people cannot, let me say that. Maybe you can for now, or, whatever else. But most people cannot work this job as a 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, because it's physically exhausting. You just can't. You wear yourself down. Like at the end of every day, after doing like 5, 6 massages, you're gonna need one yourself. And what massage therapists can get. A massage, every day or every other day, or even sometimes like once a week. It can be really challenging um, to get that, to have time, to have money, to make that the priority when, a massage is a career so totally focused on other people's needs that sometimes I think it also attracts people who are so totally focused on other people's needs and maybe aren't so great on the self care, which is one of those weird things that you need to keep up with your self care as a massage therapist. So, you have limited hours that you can work. Like 20 hours is full time massage therapist. And some people work more than that. You'll find that some people do. It's just a lot. It's just a lot to try to make it like a full time, what most people consider full time. If you were going to like work at a bank or something, you can't really keep bankers' hours. It's just really, really tough. And so with the physical exhaustion, with the limited hours that you can work, it also can limit your income. So a lot of I taught massage at a college for a little while, and I feel that a lot of people, maybe not a lot, but some people who come into massage, their understanding is, well, this is a career in a lot of places. I'm in North Carolina, for example, and my program, it was a full-time day program, and it took about 1 calendar year to be finished with a program. That's not a lot of time. You'd think, oh, well, if only in school for a year, that's great. And, when I get massages, it costs like 70 or 80 or, whatever else dollars per hour. So I'm going to be making 70 or $80 an hour. But that's another thing, especially if you just start, you're not going to be making 70 to $80 per hour, because most people start working for someone else, to build up clientele, to gain experience, to have hands-on bodies, working at like a massage franchise or something like that is perfectly fine, and it pretty much guarantees that you're gonna get that experience, but the pay is not that great. So let's say maybe they start you out at $25 an hour plus your tips. So maybe you're gonna get like $35 an hour times the 20 to 25 hours a week. It's not a significant amount of money. If you were making $35 an hour for 40 or 50 hours a week, like you would maybe at a traditional job, that would be a more significant cut of money. But it's really not. And even later on, you got to take into consideration your overhead, which massage overhead, I will say, is not that bad. Lotion lasts a long time, or oils or whatever you use, it lasts a long time. If you wash your sheets yourself, you get several sets of sheets, and you just wash them, and it doesn't cost that much. And have some essential oils, or just little odds and ends like that. Massage overhead typically is not that bad. But think about where you want to work. Like, rent can be very expensive. I live in Durham, North Carolina, and it's definitely it's a busy place, but it's also an up and coming place. It's only getting busier here. And rent can be quite a lot. So that also cuts into your income. Even if you think that you've had some experience and you start taking your own clients, and charging your 70 or $80 an hour, it also cuts into it. This is making me sigh. Like, this is my the cons of being a massage therapist. Thankfully, when we get to part 2, it's not going to be all gloom and doom. But so let's talk about some solutions, for the limited income. This is what I would say. Find your niche. Find what you are good at. Find what you enjoy. Sometimes too, it's not just about what you like or what you think you like. The people that like you will find you. For example, like I work with a lot of healthcare providers. Now, granted, I did go to medical school for a bit. I'm not a school person. I don't think I'm going to do any more school in my life. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So I do have that background. So maybe I think it's partly that I can relate. And I know, what they experience, what they go through. But even before that, I have always worked with a lot of medical providers. And that's like one of, my target demographics, my target market. And they kind of found me. I didn't go for that at first. I mean, I do now, but they just found me. I also work with a lot of people with autoimmune conditions. That was never like an interest of mine. I don't have any autoimmune conditions, but a lot of those people just find me as well. So find what you're good at, find your people, and market to those people. When it comes to pricing, I think this can be a very touchy subject, so I won't go too much into this. I used to charge a lot less than I do now. Over the last several months, though, it's like, okay, I've been doing this for a dozen years. I've got, all this experience. I have, a lot of anatomy experience. I've like worked on, I've dissected 2 cadavers. Like my anatomy, not to toot my own horn, but my anatomy is on point, like chef's kiss. So I know what I'm good at, and I've had a lot of experience, in medical school as well. That has helped a lot when it comes to what I do. And so I charge quite a bit more now than I used to, but also I charge more than most other people do around here. I have not found necessarily that it has hurt me. I'm just kind of restarting, regrowing my practice, and I'm doing about the same as I was like at other points in my career after having taken breaks and come back into it, like the regrowing period. So it has not hurt me. You just have to do what you value. You have to value your own work and, put a price on what you do. And I know that can be tough, basically saying like, well, what am I worth? But that's something that you can take into consideration. Get the experience, find what you are good at, get really good at that thing or things, and then charge accordingly. You're not going to help yourself necessarily by charging less if it means getting more people, because then you've just like pigeonholed yourself into like a lower amount when you could be making more, and it's really not going to hurt you. It's not going to keep people from coming to see you because people value a good massage and they know what that costs. So that's something that you can do. You can also supplement your income. You can teach, like maybe after you've been doing this a few years, you can teach. And that's not as hard on your body. You can do continuing education. There are other ways that you can supplement what you do with the knowledge that you have to be a massage therapist. Let's see, what else? So we touched on it a little bit, like working for someone else and having colleagues. some people, like if you're a really extroverted person and you're into networking and you like being part of an organization and you like having a boss and those kinds of things, that can be great for you. For other people, like for me, for example, I don't do as well like having a boss or having colleagues. And I will say this, as being a massage therapist, even if you do work for somebody else and having colleagues and things like that, it's not as bad as it would be if you were working, like, say, in an office or doing something else, because it's not like you have to interact or rely on other people to do the job that you do. Like being a massage therapist, it's um a very independent sort of job. So that can be good, but a lot of places, whoever owns and manages a spa or a clinic or the chiropractic office or wherever it is that you practice massage, a lot of the people who are in charge of that are not massage therapists. So they may not take your needs into consideration, right off the bat. It might be something that they need to get more experience with over the years, or, you just might need to go to them and say, hey, this doesn't really actually work out like you think it might. So that can be a con, working for somebody else and having colleagues. Another thing about having colleagues, if you work somewhere else, is client stealing. I don't even think that's a thing at all. If I had a client and they wanted to go see somebody else, more power to them. I'm not a one massage therapist person. I like to see, a couple different people, at various times in my life. I'll see different massage therapists. Sometimes I want this kind of work. Sometimes I want this kind of work. And so I'll see, other people. So I think it's good. Varied experiences, that is a good thing. But sometimes if you work with other people, like say you work at a clinic or a franchise, and they see, some other massage therapist sees you leading their client into your treatment room. I don't feel that's a problem. That's not a problem. But some massage therapists do feel like it's a problem, and it can make some sticky, hairy situations. But I've also worked at some places that say, hey, these aren't your clients, they're our clients. So wherever they want to go, like, don't act like these are yours. Wherever they go is fine. And I think that's a great approach, but you may run into that. So another thing is that if you work for yourself, running a business can be tough. And this can be, with any career, if you want to strike out on your own, running a business can be tough. Like, you need to find out what you need to do with state, with the city, with taxes, with all of those things. And it's a lot of moving pieces. Like, it's a lot. So that can take some time to get all of those things in place. And as long as I've been doing this, I am still not perfectly comfortable with all of those things. I'm still learning all the time. And I've also heard that, when you do strike out onto your own, when I was in massage school, my teacher told us, plan a good 3 years to be able to support yourself with massage, like by building your clientele. It takes a while. You're not going to do it in 6 months. You're probably not going to do it in a year, in 2 years. Give yourself a good 3 years to really get to a place where you can support yourself financially. And that may mean, that even when you strike out on your own, you might have to do both roles. You may have to be a business owner, but you may also still need to be an employee of somewhere else to get your bills paid. So that's something. And if you do work for yourself, finding a quiet office space can be such a challenge. for now and probably forever. Before I've either worked at other places, been an employee at other places, or rented space from like a chiropractor, a yoga studio, or just rented office space like in a general office park. Um, but these days I work out of my own house, and I never thought that I would do that. And it does have some of its own challenges, which could be an entire video all its own. Especially if you've got kids, pets, things like that. You have to coordinate around everybody else because you need a quiet space. So no matter where you are, you need a quiet space. And once you find that place, you're in a lease. That's a contract. So I would say before you find a place, so a solution to that could be to finding a quiet space. Like, you're gonna have to do it. Maybe evaluate the place over a couple weeks, if you can, if that's possible, if they'll allow it. Just go in and sit in the space at different times of the day that you would be there to work, and just go and sit different days and just see what the noise level is like. I was at an office space for a while, and weekends were one of my busiest times. I would see the most people on Saturdays and Sundays, but that's when they wanted to do landscaping. And it got to be a real problem because I was like, okay, I can work around the landscaping. They're not here that long. It's just the weed eater, the mower, the leaf blower, but it's not like they're here all day long, like an hour, 2 hours tops. I'm like, I would talk to the landlord, the building owner. Okay, could you just give me a heads up, like when they're gonna come this week, like when you're gonna schedule it? And challenges started to arise when I wouldn't get a heads up. Like, no one would tell me, or they'd be like, well, I don't know when they're gonna be there. And I would be in session and there would be like a leaf blower right outside my window. So that can be, a super challenge. So just talk to the people that are around there. What other kind of businesses are there? You probably don't want to be around a pet store or a dog groomer. You may not want to be around a dentist if you can hear they're drilling through the wall. You definitely don't want to be around a bowling alley. Just, there are just a lot of places that you don't want to be around, and that's a definite consideration that you have to take. So, also, sometimes you can have challenging clients. I will say this, that over the years, I have been absolutely blessed with wonderful clientele. Like, I just strongly believe that the people I am supposed to see have shown up on my table. With that said, sometimes you'll have somebody who comes in and they're in a bad mood, or that is one thing though, that even if people do show up in a bad mood, like you listen to them, you give them what they want, you give them good quality body work, they leave 1,000 times happier and kinder than they were when they first came in. So that's not usually an issue, but every once in a while you'll find somebody who just, for whatever reason, it's like you're not on the same wavelength, or they're asking for different things than what you can give them, or they're on the table and it just is like you can't seem to please them. They ask for this, but now it's this. Or another type of client I've had a couple times, you'll go over everything. I do like a very thorough health intake at the beginning, talk about goals, all those things. And we'll like plan out, what we're going to do. I don't always stick to that plan, because once you kind of get in and assess, sometimes the plan can change. But of course, you keep people abreast of what you find, those kinds of things. But you'll have 10 minutes left and you should be winding down, and they're like, well, can you do this? And it's like, you definitely need boundaries in this line of work. If you're somebody that doesn't like to tell someone no, or doesn't want to hurt somebody's feelings, of course you should never hurt somebody's feelings. But if you just feel like telling someone no, we're not doing what they want, was going to hurt their feelings, that can be really challenging. You can say, well, we've got 10 minutes left. I can do this or I can do this. Give them a solution, give them an option. And then, don't go overtime unless you've got time after you're not booked, and you're okay to give them that extra time and they're paying for that extra time. Otherwise, it is okay to have boundaries. Another area that you should definitely have boundaries, and that thankfully it does not happen often, but I think every massage therapist, it's going to happen. You're going to have someone who has nefarious intentions when they come in, who may be looking for sexual services that we do not offer as massage therapists. And what do you do in those situations? It's such an uncomfortable position to be put in, and thankfully it doesn't happen very often. But every massage therapist I know and have talked to, it does happen. So that can be a definite con. Like, you're gonna have to address it. And what you can do is, practice. You can role play. You can think of different scenarios, and you can think, well, what am I going to do in this situation? If somebody says this to me, what am I going to do? And it is absolutely 100% okay, and not just okay, but a very good idea to say, listen, that makes me uncomfortable. Name it. Put a name to it. Like, you are doing X. This makes me uncomfortable. It needs to stop now. And you may give them a second chance, or it's 100% up to you. Or you may just say, nope, we're done. I'm going to leave the room. I'm going to ask you to get dressed, and we're done today. If you work somewhere else, alert the other person that you work for, alert your manager, and let them escort the person out and deal with it. That can take some of the heat off of you. But if you work for yourself, you've got to deal with that, and it can be intensely uncomfortable. But again, boundaries. You matter. You are important. You know who you are. You know what your work does for people. And to let someone else belittle you or try to make you feel some type of way about what you do is not okay. Also, jokes about the profession along that line. And it's funny, I'm not these days, but not that long ago in the past, I did stand-up comedy. I would get up on stage and tell jokes. I love to laugh. I love comedy. I absolutely love a great joke. With that said, these jokes are not funny. They're not at all. I just recently turned off a new stand-up special of an old beloved comic who started in on making massage jokes, and I'm just like, nope. I feel like every single topic out there, you can absolutely joke about anything. It's just how you do it, and the stereotypes of our job, and those kind of things, it's just not funny. And I'll just tell people, even people who know me as like a jokey, funny, kind of person, like, oh, let's joke around. That's not something that we joke about. But that's definitely a con to the profession. So, also going back to the limited income, the income can also be inconsistent. There's definitely a season that things can be busier, around holidays, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, summer. Things can pick up, and then sometimes in the winter or at various times of the year it slows down. So what are you going to do about that? If you especially if you work for yourself, what are you going to do about that? So those are solutions. Those are things that you need to think about as well. How are you going to make up for that? Like, how are you going to like save your money? When you get a gift certificate, how are you going to pay yourself? Um, are you going to use the money now, or are you just going to say, nope, I'm going to set this aside and I'm not going to pay myself until they uh, use the gift certificate? So those are things that you got to think about as well. So I think also with the other people and the joking and those kinds of things, there's a public misconception about massage, about what we can do, um, about what massage can do for them. I know a lot of people are really into, the research, what the science says about massage, and there's plenty of evidence out there. If you wanted to look something like that up, what is it? There's the Touch Institute. There's plenty of research out there that you can point someone to. But, of course, you can't make any claims. You can't guarantee somebody, oh, with one massage, like your headache's gonna be gone. You can't tell somebody that, but most likely you can help someone with headaches. You can help someone get better sleep. You can help with muscular tension, those kinds of things. But I think a lot of people don't know that those kinds of things about massage, or maybe they don't value massage or don't value themselves enough, going back to that self-care aspect. And I think, that's one of your jobs as well, is to not just sell yourself or sell a massage, but tell people, show people what it can do, what massage can do for them. Like a lot of people think of massage as like, a special treat, something that they get for their birthday, something like that. But it's like, yes, a massage can be a nice thing. Get massage when you can get massage. But if you can do it more often, the benefits are just like, exponential. They just build on themselves. Like the more often you can get a massage, the more benefits that you get from it. So also, I think depending where you live, another con can be oversaturation of the market. So if you live in a place that has a lot of massage schools, there are several where I'm at. And if you go, say, like another perfect example would be like Asheville, North Carolina, for example. I'm about 3 hours from Asheville. There are tons of massage schools in Asheville and surrounding, and massage is like super big in Asheville. But then again, there are a lot of people that also live in Asheville who value and get regular massage. But there are so many massage therapists there, and even here there are a lot. So a solution would be that you really, like, going back to target market, like, who are you working with? What do you do? What can you offer? Also, I would say most massage therapists are women, and there, of course, is a reason for that, because most men want female massage therapists and most women also want female massage therapists. So being a man in the profession, I'm not saying that men should not be in this profession. Men should absolutely be in this profession. There are times that one of my favorite massage therapists is a man. And, there are times that, like, big, warm, strong man hands, it's just exactly what a person needs. It's, it can be a different experience. But so many people won't see a male massage therapist. They're worried that if it's a woman, they're worried, like, is he thinking inappropriate things about me? And I'm not saying that that never happens, but a lot of massage therapists see themselves as, in the health and wellness industry. And it's, would you see a male doctor? Would you see a male nurse? Well, if you would, why would you not see a male massage therapist? He's not, thinking bad things about you, not going to do, untoward things. I'm not saying that never happens. It definitely, things like that can happen, and it gives us all, a bad name when things like that happen. There are female massage therapists that do not so great things as well. But it can definitely be tougher as a man sometimes. And for men who won't see a male massage therapist, and it's like, okay, do you see a male doctor? Would you be okay? Then, it's okay for you to see a male massage therapist. It has nothing to do with your sexuality. It's nothing to do with anything. It has to do with, you need the services that this person provides. So I think coming in as a man, just knowing that up front, it may take even longer to build up your clientele. But, I think that comes down to, again, knowing what you do, like knowing what you are good at, knowing who you want to serve, knowing what you do, putting in, the time to learn what you're really great at, like those kinds of skills. And a man can definitely make a go of this profession. I think, a lot of men gravitate towards like teaching, um, and also like sports massage. Like that's a really popular thing for men. But my favorite male massage therapist gives a mean relaxation massage. He's just, that's just, oh my gosh, he just excels in that. So, don't pigeonhole yourself. Don't, whatever you're good at, like you can make it happen. You can be a male massage therapist and make it happen, but also, you know that things may take a little bit longer. So I would say that those are some of the biggest cons to being a massage therapist. There are solutions to some of those things. Some of these things, it's challenging, but there are definitely workarounds. So I think in part 2, we're going to talk about the pros to being a massage therapist, which obviously there are a lot of them because there's so many of us out there who absolutely love what we do. So stay tuned and look forward to that. And I'm looking forward to bringing you that. So until next time, bye, friends.